Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you today what lures to use while kayak fishing. If you've seen some of my videos, you know I'm pretty heavily into kayak fishing. Right inside there, past all the junk, is our two kayaks for myself and my wife. Of course, we do freshwater, river fishing. I don't bother with fishing out of lakes. And of course, offshore in the ocean. Primarily 1 to sometimes 7 miles out. But I'm going to go through here and just show you some of my favorite lures. This is the case that I bring with me when I go out of my kayak. My number one and go-to lure for everything. I have this rigged up at all times. Caught everything from king mackerel to Spanish mackerel, dorado, or of course mahi as some other people know it as, is the 1 ounce rattle trap, silver and black. It is the best kept secret in the kayak fishing world. You can see I've got 3 right here, and I have another 1 or 2 inside of this package that I've been using. But they're pretty cheap. They're only about $8 a piece. You can find them online all over the place. And like I said, this is my go-to. This is my number one lure that I use in my kayak. I use a 5000 series reel from Penn and an 850 SS from the 70s, also made by Penn. My 2 go-to reels for kayak fishing. But of course, here I have a king duster. You can buy them. They're made by Bomber. There's 2 of them, different colors. The red and silver work great. Also the black and silver. You see I don't have one in here right now. Black and silver are phenomenal too. King, love them. If you're wanting to go for some smaller game than king fishing, you can go for these little Spanish rigs. Bonita, Tuna, and Spanish also hit these really, really well. You can see here this one's made by Bomber, Spanish mackerel rig, just as it's titled. They work pretty good. The only thing I highly recommend with these style rigs is the hooks on them are pretty much junk. You'll need to take off the hooks and put on some decent ones. You can see I've upgraded the hooks here from the 3 hook setup it comes with to just a simple 2. Easily done. Just re-rig it. Of course, crush the barb, slide on another hook, and then reopen the barb back up, and that'll keep that second hook on. It greatly increases your hookup percentage, as well as retrieving the fish in. You don't have to worry about breaking the hooks off, which we've had done even on small 5-pound bonitas. So moving right along here, here's some custom jobs that I've done. They're very similar to a king duster. Basically, you have 2 treble hooks, or you can use a circle hook that's weighted. Flip this over and show you the other side. See, this red part right here is a weighted circle hook. The duster goes on that, and then I have a little stinger that comes off about 3 inches with another circle hook. Use this with dead bait like cigar minnow or Spanish sardine or anything that you may have. 2 other lures. Of course, I have another rattle trap here, which is my number one. Like I said, that one's already been used once. And I have a little gotcha plug here. If things are slow, take a gotcha, cast it out, let it sink to the bottom, jig it up, faster retrieve, and light jerk on the pole as you're coming up so that it can dart around in the water. And you'll usually hook up to something. Most of the time it's going to be smaller, a Bonita or a Spanish or something like that. If things really get tough and no pelagics are biting, we have a weighted. Of course, it's just your standard setup for a bottom jig there. 3-way swivel. Your line connects to one end. One end you'll want to have about 8 inches in your weight, and then the other end you'll have about 8 to 10 inches in a hook. Bait it with some squid, some shrimp, whatever you got laying around, and you're almost guaranteed to pick up something off the bottom. So I always try to go out and at least catch 1 fish. Most of the time it's not difficult whatsoever, but everybody's had those days where things are just slow. So this is always a good method if you just get bored. So there's another of that. And of course, number one thing, extra leader. I use the 45-pound single strand. People refer to it as piano wire. You'll see some of that here. Copper in color is what I prefer. It's very easy to tie on the fly. Once you get good at it, you can just tie a little haywire twist in a matter of seconds, and it'll take a lot of abuse before it breaks off. So that's it. That's what I use for kayak fishing. I hope this has been helpful for some of you guys trying to rig up your little cases for kayak fishing. Don't bring out your whole tackle box, because if you dump it in the surf, everything's going to sink. And always make sure that you tie everything down. If you have pliers, make sure they have a leash on them. Of course, your rods. This little guy, I'll just connect a little leash right here so it stays with the kayak if I do dump it. So, all right, guys, I hope that was helpful. And like I said, pick you up some of these. Dusters are always awesome. And, of course, your rattle traps, don't leave home without them. And we'll talk to you soon, guys. Thanks.